Yeah, I think that's always the catch-22 of being the head coach over being a coordinator. The thing that most of us, we got into this game for two reasons. At least I look at it this way: like, I got in this game because, man, I want to impact young men's lives, and I love coaching ball. I really enjoy the process of getting ready for an opponent. I love studying the film. That doesn't tire me. It doesn't wear me. I mean, I enjoy it. It takes a lot of hours, but I enjoy that. So that's the part I miss, when I don't call it. But at the same time, I also believe that, as a head coach, you have a tremendous opportunity for impact on a lot of people's lives. And so I put a lot of value into that. So that, to me, is why I feel like that I still feel energized, because I'm only doing one of the two things that really drove me into this profession, but I'm also really in a maximum amount of position to impact not just players, but coaches and their families. And so I feel like that's still gives me tremendous purpose. And I'm also very involved defensively, even though I'm not calling it. But I would really, if I didn't get a chance to be part of that at all, schematically, that would be kind of hard, So, but that's the part I got. So right now, the way it works is I need to be able to walk out of that defensive room or that offensive room when I'm with the administrative staff and deal with the administrative issue, or you talk about being the CEO, which we basically are of our organization. So I think you got to balance that, but it's also part of you got a great opportunity to impact a lot of people when you're in the head coach role.
Talk about the schedule a little bit. It's a little weird that everything's coming in 2024, the new teams and the conference schedule, but we still have one more season before all that happens. There's going to need to be changes with your program, how you prepare for things and all of that. How do you deal with this season knowing the changes are coming?
Well, I mean, you compartmentalize. I mean, we know what's coming next, but we've not really spent any time dealing with that right now, So we got, I have a systematic way of trying to approach that, in regards to our DFO and how we're planning ahead with him. But from a football perspective, we're not really talking about anything other than, what's ahead of us in week one, So, but I'm also not a tunnel. I realize I can't have just tunnel vision on things. I have to be able to have a big picture view of where we're going. And so I just think it's an exciting time. You thought about and you also throw in the 12-team playoff. That's another new part of the 24 season. So definitely exciting things ahead for sure for college football and for the Big Ten. But, right now the main focus is, and the one focus is, getting our team ready for fall camp and ready for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Tom, from your game against Ohio State last week, do you remember about the challenge of covering somebody like Marvin Harrison and just the challenge of great?
Yeah, he's special, and they have a special quarterback and special receivers, and not just him. You talk about having multiple guys you got to deal with, and so, and a massive offensive line, So I just think that they create a lot of issues, and so it's hard to focus in on just one guy without question. Now they will have, a couple new tackles and a new quarterback as their starters, whoever that might be, and so you got to be able to adapt to figure out who that's going to look and how that's going to affect their offense and how their offense will look. But regardless, it's going to be a very talented player playing any of those three spots, So, but and Harrison's one of those guys where, I mean, it's like anybody else. You got to be able to decide, how do you handle that guy? Is it a group effort? And if you put too much emphasis on him, is it going to hurt your other players? Obviously, it will. So we got to do a great job of not allowing a player like that to be able to take a game over and then end up beating you.
What stands out about him versus him? They've had a lot of good receivers.
Yeah, they have.
What stands out about him?
Well, his size and speed, and I'm telling you, his ball skills are ridiculous. I mean, that guy just doesn't drop balls, and makes some unbelievable catches. So that makes for, when you got length and you got speed and you got phenomenal ball skills, that makes for a very tough matchup. It's hard to say, well, what do you take away from the guy? How can you, we do have some longer corners and some bigger DBs, which will help, in that regard. But at the same time, how much do you want to put a guy one-on-one with him? That's a tough matchup for anybody to be able to do. But you know what? We got some guys that are going to have to rise up, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to cover guys in certain situations. And not saying you're going to play man on him the whole time, but he's going to have that. And that's why, that's what he's working for, and that's what we're working for. So end of the day, you got a really, really talented football team that's got probably, one of the best, if not the best, receiver I've ever gone against.
Coach, I'm from the Grand Rapids area, and you recently offered Robbie Kavaleski out of East Grand Rapids a walk-on opportunity. What stood out to you about him, and why give him this walk-on opportunity?
I tell you what, he's passionate about Indiana. and he really wanted to be a part of our program. And obviously he's a guy that has position flexibility. He can play offensive line, he can play tight end, and just want guys that are passionate about coming to Indiana and helping this program improve in any way possible. And when we have a guy as a walk-on, I want guys that are here for all the right reasons. Guys that are going to be going to class and they're going to do an excellent job in that classroom and represent us in a first-class way, and are going to do everything right off the field, on the field, in the workouts. And he just comes across as a guy to me who's going to just be a tremendously hard worker, that I'm not going to have to worry about anything that he's doing or not doing. He's going to be where he's supposed to be, when he's supposed to be there, and that's what you get when you get a guy that really cares about the opportunity he's been given, and he realizes it's pretty special.
Coach Allen, another recruiting question for you. As a guy that covers Fort Wayne area teams, what have you liked about just the caliber of talent that's come out of the area, just knowing you've brought in some Fort Wayne folks over the years as a coach?
Yeah, I tell you, it's been an increase, I would say, of guys that are being, recruited to and by the Power 5 schools in the country. And so, it's a really good pocket of football and highly competitive conference. A lot of guys, very good coaches in that league, and very well prepared, So, anytime you get, that many guys, and then you start growing and you start seeing more in the future. So, I think it motivates other guys, to be able to, you take some of those guys that play multiple sports and they know, hey, I may love basketball, but man, I can go to football and be a guy that stands out, as a guy that has this type of athleticism, and so at the receiver position or DB position. So, yeah, it's become, especially these last few years, a lot of guys up there, and I'm sure there's going to be more to come.